Bruce Hill.
So again, Bruce Hill, I make sales simple. One of my favorite challenges, whenever there's a intimate workshop like this, like what can I tell each and every one of you that's helpful to each and every one of you? And the name of my business answers that question. It's New Skills, New You. I live my life on the very simple principle that one new skill will change your life. So if I can teach you just one thing that helps you get one more deal this month, this will be a good investment of your time. Can we agree on that?
Yep.
So here's what I need from you. There's 4 types of speakers. How many?
4.
There's transformational speakers, there's motivational speakers, there's inspirational speakers, and there's educational speakers. So a transformational speaker, think of a pastor, right? We want you to grow from the inside out. A motivational speaker would be E.T. We all know that you got one it as bad as you can breathe. They're always yelling at you. And then an inspirational speaker, my favorite example is Les Brown, who helps you believe into something bigger. And then an educational speaker is yours truly, where if I do my job well, with your help and participation, you will learn something, have a deeper clarity of something you already know that you can take and use today. The one challenge that I have being an educational speaker is that I cannot force you to learn anything. I need your help to facilitate that learning. So does everybody have a pen and paper? If you want to do digital notes, that's fine. I've got paper if you need. I want you, by the end of this, to have one thing that you can apply. Come on, you need a sheet of paper? No, it's okay. If we have one thing, and I'm going to ask you, what's one thing you can take from this and apply? So for today, I don't have slides for you. I really want you to be involved in your own success and making this meaningful. We're going to talk about asking better questions. If I can help you ask better questions, you're going to get better answers. If I can help you ask better questions, you're going to get better clients. Each and every one of you, no matter what industry you're in, whether it's banking, publishing, digital media, if you ask better questions to yourself and to your clients, you will grow your business. So if you're taking notes, you say, how to ask better questions. So you look at this a week from now or a year from now, you're like, what's this scribble on this page? You're like, oh, it's how to ask better questions. And that's when I say I make sales simple. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Because all of you have asked questions. You know what questions are. What I hope to accomplish today is twofold. How can we use questions more effectively? And then 4 questions that you're going to ask almost every time. Sound good? So what's the first one?
Asking better questions.
And the second takeaway?
4 questions that I'll ask every time.
We do those 2 things, this next 20 minutes will be a win. Bill, watch me on my time, because this is really a 4-hour workshop. You're only getting done in 20 minutes.
4 questions, what now?
4 questions that I'll ask every time.
So let's start off, let's make sure our definitions are the same. How do we define a question? That's always an interesting, meta idea. How do we define a question, Andrew? I mean, how would you put that into words?
A question, I would say, is like a form of communication to elicit a response.
Beautiful. That's an excellent example. A question is a statement, phrase to gain information. There's 2 types of questions you probably already know about. Do you remember what those are?
You mean what are the 2 types of questions?
Yeah.
There are open-ended questions and there are closed-ended questions.
Okay. Amani, help us. How would you define an open-ended question?
It's where you give someone the ability to express how without any limits.
Yeah, that's perfect. It creates a conversation. We want to lean towards those. If there's 5 questions you ask, 4 of them should be open-ended. Tim, how would you define a closed-ended question?
Yes or no answer.
That's it. It's yes or no. Now, so you already knew that. Everybody knew that already. So when we talk about asking better questions, my goal isn't to teach you something transformational that you never heard of before, but I want you to use it more effectively. So check this out. When do we use open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions?
Ooh.
There we go. All right, so now we already get into the breakthrough. You already see how I make sales simple is not some complicated calculus formula. It's using the tools we already have more effectively. So write this down if you're taking notes. Open-ended questions are for information. Open-ended questions for information. I ask that question, there's a response that lets me learn something more about you and your business. And what's beautiful about this is going to impact your personal relationships, your romantic relationships with your kids, family. I focus on business, but man, it's really, truly one new skill will change your life. So, open-ended questions are for gathering information. Where's the leads exchange? What do I need to bring? Those are open-ended questions. It would be kind of rude of me if you asked me, where's the lead exchange, Heidi? And you're like, yes. Well, all right, he doesn't want to talk to me, that's fine, right? Now, here's the flip side. And this isn't a better or worse, I just want you to use them intentionally. Close-ended questions are for confirmation. I love rhyme. Listen, you work with me for a little bit, Tim will tell you. I love alliterations, I like rhymes. Confirmation. Hey, is the event canceled? No, we're going to be here. Okay, great. Hey, is it raining? Let me check. Look outside. No, we're good. Confirmation. If you're asking 5 questions, one of those should be a confirmation question. And when we have time, we'll talk about how to use those in a sales conversation. Pause there. Questions, comments, concerns.
No.
Take your time.
No, like I'm just nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. I'll let you. Yeah.
So let's keep going. Now here's one I'm pretty confident you haven't heard of. I just adopted this concept maybe a few months ago. And I've been teaching this workshop for over 8 years. But I realized there's another layer to our questions. So I want you to write down concrete and concept. Right? Put them across from each other and not above and below each other. Concrete and concept. And I realize that open-ended and closed-ended is how we ask the question. But concrete and concept are why we ask these questions. Stay with me. A concrete question is going to give me data. And most of the time, there's only one answer.
I'm sorry, can you go back? You said
Sure.
an open-ended and a closed-ended. Open
Correct.
and closed is how we ask, but the concrete and concept is what we ask?
Why?
Why? Okay.
Why we ask. Great. Thank you for clarifying. I want to make sure I want it to be so easy that you get it, you can go use it. So thank you for clarifying that. So how we ask, right, versus why we ask. A concrete question has a data point and is usually only one answer. So that's the note under concrete. It only has one answer. So Carlton, think about when you have a lending application.
Mm-hmm.
What I need? You name your business, maybe your EIN, when you were founded, maybe your NET codes.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one answer, right?
Right. All right.
You can't tell me, well, sometimes I call the business. No, there's one
Yeah.
answer. So that's a data point. So even though they're open-ended questions, what is your email? What is your business name? Why we're asking them is to gather some data. We want to get some detailed information. There's only one answer. Think about when you go to the hospital, right? They're going to ask you your date of birth. That's not going to change. That's a concrete question. Right? Thank you. I appreciate it. That's why I don't do stand-up anymore. So now let's zoom out to concept questions. And this is where all of us can improve. And I say that with love and respect because I've been teaching this course for 8 years and I still need to work on this. Concept questions get into why. What's the motivation? What are their dreams or aspirations? So you can think about,
Bless you.
we're launching a digital media campaign. Why do you want to launch a digital media campaign? So that's an open-ended question, but the concept beneath it is, well, we want more exposure. Okay. What are you going to do with that more exposure? Oh, we're opening a new location. Now we start to understand the motivation, the reason behind the decision. Here's one each and every one of you can use in your next conversation. If someone's on your calendar, all right, you hop on Zoom, you hop on Google Meet a conversation. What made you set this time today? Why did you decide to spend this time? Or what did you hope to accomplish from talking today? That's one of each and every one of you should use.
Yeah. That's pretty.
That's good.
And it's such a simple question, but you'll be surprised at the answer. So I used to do some financial services, and we help people with their student loans. And I asked this question to the appointment. I said, hey, why did you schedule this call? She said, I need help renewing my Section 8 voucher. I said, well, I'd love to help you with that, but I don't know how. And She's like, okay, thanks. And she hung up. That saved us both some time. I went and got me a drink, stretch, fresh air, and I didn't waste her time, I didn't waste my time. It's a phenomenal question. Now here's what happens. I asked this question last week. I said, hey, what made you reach out? He said, well, you know what, Bruce, we're opening a new branch in Atlanta and we're not getting any traction. If I go into a conversation, sales conversation, personal or otherwise, talking about what I want to talk about, I may never have asked that question. It never would have occurred to me to ask him, are you opening any new locations? Concept questions are so powerful, they will transform your conversations and they'll lead to more business. So now we understand how to ask questions, open-ended, closed-ended, but more detail why we're gonna ask these questions. So let's pause there. Questions, comments, concerns?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
I was trained to find a pain point, and that seems like what the concept question would
Yeah.
be.
Okay.
Pressure. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
like-
Yeah.
How much time do I have, Bill?
8 minutes.
So I'll touch on this real quick, but I definitely invite you to have a deeper conversation with me. There's been so many sales trainings that talk about uncover the pain. But what I've really found are better clients. The title of my next book is Better Questions, Better Clients. Are not the people where the world is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's people that are actually doing well, but they want to do better.
Yeah.
So when sales trainers taught you find the pain, they really were looking for a contrast. I call it the sales distance. The distance from where they are and where they want to go. That distance is how much they pay you and how badly they want to work with you. What is very obvious, let's use the trauma center, right? Emergency room. Health, wealth, and abundance all your lives, but for whatever reason, you're in the emergency room. Why? Because something ain't working the way it is, or something is working the way it should not be, right? They tell the doctor, it hurts when I do this. It's very easy to identify that pain. Most people are raising their hand, they're typing in a search, they're looking for it. And those are good clients. They're generally going to make a decision much more quickly, all right? Hey, I'm opening a business, I've got to have insurance as part of my daily operations.
Mm-hmm.
Our launch date's June 1st. We need to talk now. And that's nice when that happens. It's easy. But you're going to have a better type of client and a longer term client if you can build a contrast from what's going well, what's good, and help them get to great. That's a different level of questions. And so it might not be a pain. Things are working pretty well. Things are going okay. And so here's the second question I'm going to give you. You could change anything about your life and business. What would it be and why? You could change
So
anything.
this is still under the umbrella of concept, right?
That is definitely a concept question.
Okay.
Great observation. You could change anything about your life and business. What would it be and why? And their answer is going to tell you about their motivation. And what's so important about listening to the answer to this question is they're telling you the reason they will buy from you.
Yeah.
But, show of hands, how many of you think that sounded like a sales question?
Sounds
But it
personal.
is. But it is.
So
You know what I
here's
mean? Yeah.
Here's something fascinating I've learned. The sale happens when they decide, the money shows up later. And a lot of these trainings that we've gone through have taught us the sale happens when we get the invoice. The sale already happened. Man, you gotta check out this new movie, right? Tom Cruise, it's the final Mission Impossible. He does a stunt where he's like hanging onto a plane. You're like, man, that sounds really cool. When's it come out? Oh, it's next week. I'm gonna go see it. That's the sale. Nobody gets any money until what? I go buy a ticket, I get some popcorn, maybe I get a t-shirt, I don't know. I just really love the movie. So I want you to understand the sale happens first, the money shows up later. Money is a lagging metric that you have been successfully selling. Questions, comments, concerns?
Well,
No, I was like, that was so good. I'm like,
asking them that question of why, if they could change anything, basically, they're identifying pain points.
So here's the thing though. It may lead to a pain point, but what's also powerful is a promise. So right now, I'm pretty happy with my weight. Okay? One of my promises is, right, I use the word promise because I like alliterations. I talk about people, promise, process, and pricing. One of my promises is I want to run a 10K under an hour. There's no pay point. Everything works. I don't have plantar fasciitis. I'm good. So if you try to find pain, we'd be stuck in a circle. You're like, well, does it hurt when you run? No. Do you have aches and pains the next day? No. And you spend so much time missing pain, you forget the promise. You say, Bruce, if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be and why? Man, I'd really love to get my 10K time under an hour. Why is that important to you, Bruce? Because I know that a healthy heart, that I live a healthier life, and I can be around to help my parents when they retire. Oh. So Bruce, if I can help you get your mile time down to under 10 minutes so that you can hit that goal, would it make sense if we talked about working together? Yeah, that sounds great. Okay, Bruce, I have some suggestions for you. Do you see how that sounds different? If you try to find a pain, I'd be like, this guy's annoying. And you're gonna lose their attention and their interest. And you're gonna lose opportunities to serve them.
I love the if then, right? The question, if we can do this, or if I can do this for you, then would it make sense? You know?
So that is
Because it's like a no-brainer. Like, first of all, they already told you what they would change. And you say, okay, if I can help you make that change, would you say?
Like, and from a bigger standpoint, what you're describing is funneling, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm funneling you.
Yeah.
Like, as he's talking, all I can see is a strategic plan. You see what I mean?
I do.
Like in the Army, my job was to get whomever you want to just absolutely jack up. I want you going down this path.
Mm-hmm.
I want you so calm and collected and confident until it's crazy, right? You don't know that I'm waiting down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I then do is, like with him and the analogies that he's given, I find and I fix my enemy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take away your ability to run. I'm gonna take away your ability to shout for help and everything else. Well, from a strategic standpoint, I have funneled you.
Mm-hmm.
By getting the buy-in up front,
Mm-hmm.
what he's making it easier to do is when he does make the presentation of how to make this happen, you've already said yes so many times until a yes is gonna be automatic.
Mhm.
That's brilliant. Like that
Yeah.
Talk yourself into yourself.
Yeah, I heard
Precisely.
it a little differently.
Yeah.
Okay, please share.
Yeah, and it's based on what I've been experiencing lately with people that are coming to me. Is that I heard it I need to work with people that already have momentum built up and then build off that momentum in a sense. And that way I'm not working with people that need to be pulled from ground zero.
Right.
Yes.
Because it takes more energy, time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But they've also got skin in the game at that particular point, right?
Mhm.
Right.
They're not listening to your idea and walking out the damn out the door you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, well, she sounds bright. No. I'm doing this for a living. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like any other wild animal. So, I want to make sure that you're bought into the process and you got skin in the game.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
Yeah.
saving my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you save a lot of time and energy.
Yeah.
I say this frequently, I'll share it with you. I'm not in the convincing business. If I
Mhm.
say, hey, if I can help you get your mile time down, does it make sense to work together? If I say no, I say, great, what should we be talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna persuade you.
Yeah.
Amen.
And what happens most of the time is they'll either identify themselves as a bad fit, which I want to know before an invoice, because I get chargebacks, I get disputes,
Yeah.
I get headaches.
Yeah.
I don't want headaches. I want peace. Or to either identify themselves as a bad fit, or they say, well, it's not really about the mile time. I need help with picking out a pair of shoes, running shoes. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You say, oh, I can help you with that too. Or, hey man, I know you really need to talk to my friend Bill. Pick out. And is really about, when we do this effectively, it's about clarity. So make a note, clarity closes deals.
That's good.
Thank you. So, what I want to do here, I have a favorite. I'm going to, I want your feedback, good, bad, or ugly.
Yep. Exactly.
And then, I don't know, can you hit that QR code? It's gonna have just a bit of feedback survey. Make this bigger. I know I'm standing in the way.
He's clear.
Right, you're not glass. And I want you to be honest. You don't have to feel good because that's how I improve. Now, in exchange for you taking the time to share the feedback, you're going to get a copy of my Better Questions Toolkit. It's going to quantify some of the things we talked about today, and there's some things that we didn't have time to get through. So take 2 minutes, you fill it out, and you'll get a copy of the slides at the end of the survey. And then, as promised, I promised you 4 questions. You should only have 2. We're going to give you 2 more. And we'll wrap up. Bill, are you on there?
Yeah.
I want you to start using this for your.
Yeah, I like it. It's dope. Me la gusta. That's dope. I like that.
Bill, I don't care what your friends and family say about you. You're all right, man.